Good evening, everyone. It is 6:30. I will call our meeting to order. I'm calling our meeting to order of May 20th, 2021, which is being held virtually via WebEx. And tonight we have a listening session regarding residential organized collection. And before we are going to start with a presentation, but I just have a couple things that I want to make sure I review for tonight's meeting, since it's a little different than most of our meetings. So like I said, we will have a presentation by Sustainability Coordinator Rachel Lindholm, and then we will open the meeting up for comments from our residents. So the live listening session will experience some lagging in the technology as we connect residents. So if folks could just be patient with that, that'd be greatly appreciated. Our staff is doing a great job and getting this format up and running for us. So we thank everyone for their patience. And then just to clarify with folks, tonight is purely a listening session. There won't be any commentary or questions from our city council tonight. It is purely to listen to our residents on this topic of organized residential hauling. And we will have a work session on May 25th for our city council to follow up with any questions after our session. And then additionally, our residents can also participate in our formal public hearing on the topic, which is going to be held June 1st at 6:30 p.m., which will be held in person at City Hall. So now with that out of the way, I will pass it to our Sustainability Coordinator, Rachel Lindholm, for a brief presentation.
Thank you, Mayor. This presentation is very similar in content to the work session that was presented to council last week, and so I highly encourage all residents to check out that recording, as it will probably answer many questions, and I will be quickly going through some of the slides that have been previously discussed in the interest of time. So briefly, again, the background of how we got here with organized collection, considering it, there are a variety of goals that are set in play by a variety of agencies and actors. Richfield hasn't had the strongest background with things like having an organized recycling system. However, we have made strong progress in our recent organics drop-off program, and that has led residents asking for more steps like curbside organics and a more consolidated waste system. Additionally, the city is not able to currently help residents with a lot of the complaints that they might have. I've gone over this slide a fair number of times, and we really highlight the financial and the environmental benefits of organized collection, but there are a lot of sub-goals that this helps the city achieve as well. So briefly then, organized collection would be a 7-year contract. This is required by state statute, and all participating haulers or all licensed haulers that are qualified to participate and choose to participate can. So it is not a single hauler contract. And then into the pricing, which is what a lot of questions have come up around, and there are a lot of numbers to go into, so I've tried to make this even easier than what was presented at the work session. But as always, I definitely encourage residents to reach out, email me with their questions. If they want someone else to just look at their bill and calculate costs under organized collection, I've had quite a few residents reach out. And, I think 9 out of 10, I've been able to calculate significant savings for, and that's been really exciting because there have been a few residents who have reached out to me thinking that they are going to be paying more under organized collection, and it's really nice to be able to share that in fact is not the case. So you can see the open collection average for cart sizes in trash on the top, and then the organized collection comparison. This doesn't take into account fees because there are no fees in organized collection. This was a priority for the city. It also does not take into account taxes because those are not negotiable. And I'll get into the all-in price later so that residents have a better understanding of what the bill would look like. And then briefly, again, recycling, there are 2 options. One option needs to be chosen for the entire city, every other week recycling or weekly recycling. And again, you can see that comparison there. Briefly, the commodity adjustment offset price, that's a credit that residents will be getting back, and it's based on the market value for Richfield recyclables. So the price of recycling for every other week should be, and will be, less than $7 a month. We just don't have that exact commodity adjustment worked out yet because, again, it's market dependent. Again, for organics, there are two options. One needs to be chosen for the entire community. There's the citywide program and a subscription option, and you can see the varying price differences. A citywide program would mean that every resident or household in the program pays for the program. There would be an option to opt in, so you would not need to have a cart, but we are trying to incentivize organics as a new waste stream, basically where recycling has been, was 25, 35 years ago. Organics recycling is just as important. And so trying to build a competitive program outlined in the table on the right, a credit opportunity as well for residents with funding from the county. And then below is the yard waste table. A full season, I got this question today. It's either it can be a cart or multiple carts. It can also be bags. You're not required to have one or the other. It can be both as well. So that's a full season. And then on-call is paying per bag, which some residents do now. And then a second or third yard waste cart, if you request a second cart, at the time of your first, you can get it for free actually, but if you request it at a different time, there's a delivery charge. And then a holiday tree collection service as well. And so this is where I wanted to spend a little more time, the next two slides, really looking at what the all-in price is. So this is trash with taxes. I used every other week recycling since that is what residents have now. And then I added organics just to show the big picture. And you can see the monthly open collection average. This is for trash and recycling, but it's differentiated by the trash size. So the monthly open collection average for a 35-gallon, it's a small cart, about $33. Monthly organized pricing without the recycling credit or the organics credit would be $18.90. So you can see that stark differential even before you add the a $5 monthly organics charge. So there's savings on top of adding a new service for the majority of customers, and this is the same throughout all trash cart sizes. And so then you can see the quarterly column, which is much more what residents can compare their existing bill to. And that'll kind of give you an idea of how that compares to your bill now. So I was asked to use a residential bill to kind of explain this, and that's a great idea. Unfortunately, we don't have time to go through an example for every single hauler. So this is obviously, if you have Aspen, this probably looks familiar. This is an Aspen bill. This is a Richfield resident, and this is a 2021 bill. So it's very timely. And if you don't have an Aspen bill, I obviously can still walk through your bills with you. Some of them are easier to understand than others, but I have experience with all kinds of bills, so don't worry about that. Basically, this is to show how I calculate the potential savings that a resident would see under organized collection. And so there are a few different numbers that go into each price, especially for trash and recycling. You have the base service, which in this bill is $39.75. And then you have the fuel fee, which in this bill for trash is $10.45. I add those together to get the base in open collection, which is $50.20. And then I add the two tax lines separately, so you can kind of see that as well. Trash is the only waste stream that is taxed, so it's pretty easy to know kind of what those numbers mean. For recycling, it's a similar system. You take that base fee, that $27, and then non-tax fee. Like I just said, trash is the only thing that is taxed, so that fuel and enviro non-tax fee is for recycling. And you add those together, and that's your base recycling price. And so this is a quarterly bill, like you can see, and this is what this Richfield resident actually pays for a quarter of service. And then I put out the organized collection numbers, which are obviously based on the contract. And so again, quarterly, not monthly. And for the same size bins, these are the prices. I even added a potential organics charge just to show that this resident has savings on top of adding a new service. So I do that whenever anyone emails me. I kind of walk them through everything. I say the recycling commodity adjustment's not included, so you'll see some more savings. An organics credit is not included, you'll see some more savings, things like that. But I highly recommend people reach out to me. I've had a lot of good interactions with residents trying to explain how bills work and where all the fees are hidden and what they go to. So that was the big thing I wanted to share with everyone tonight. And then briefly again, bulky items for curbside collection, electronics, and then extra services. If you need more carts, if you want to swap your carts, you forgot to set your cart out, those things. And then lastly, just to reiterate, for billing and customer service, haulers will be the first point of contact because the city did not want to add an extra fee, extra staff, make the program more expensive for residents. However, the city staff will still be available for residents to contact, especially if an issue needs to be escalated and residents need help, they haven't been getting a satisfactory answer from haulers, etc. So that's all I have tonight. Oh, and then one last point that I clarified with our haulers the other day in response to, I believe, Councilmember Hayford O'Leary bringing up the question of auto billing. Yes, are more than happy to auto bill. That's an option no matter who your hauler is right now or would be in the future. So I think that's all I have tonight.
Thank you so much, Rachel. We appreciate the presentation. Council knows this. A lot of our community members know, but Rachel has been doing an exceptional job in leading this initiative. I mean, clearly you've sliced and diced the information in so many ways for our residents to make sure that they have the information they need so they can really see what the impact will be, the benefits to each of their households. So thank you, Rachel. Now, I'm just going to ask briefly if there's questions. This is not a work session where we're really discussing. It's a listening session. So if for our community. So if there's any small items that you'd like to ask, but we will have an actual work session on this in the future. So any clarifying points or anything brief you would like to ask council members? Okay. Thank you so much, Sustainability Coordinator Lindholm, for that presentation. We will go to the next portion of our meeting, and that's opening the listening session for comments from our residents. So I just have a few things to review before we do that. But we are inviting our Richfield residents to participate in 3 different ways in our listening session tonight. So via telephone, via email, and via our digital platform, which is WebEx. For telephone access, you can dial 612-861-0651. And you can call in. A moderator will ask for your name and your address. And then please note that the line can only hold 10 callers at a time. So if you get a busy tone, please do call back and try again. Once you're on hold, your line will be muted until it's your turn to connect. And then the moderator will notify you as you're being transferred to the live meeting. And we ask that you have up to 3 minutes to give your comment. And we ask that you please do adhere to those 3 minutes. And then please remember to mute any of your devices that are around you during the comment period so that the City Council can clearly hear your comments. For email access, you can submit your comments during the meeting via email by sending them to our Administrative Assistant, Kelly Wynn, at kwynn@richfieldmn.gov. And your email comments will be read during the meeting. And then for WebEx access as an attendee, please use the chat box. It looks like a little bubble on the right side. And if you're using your cell phone, you can swipe left or right to find it. Once you find the chat, pick Blanca MG from the drop-down menu and write your name so that she knows that you would like to comment. Please remember to mute any other devices around and then turn your camera on. So it looks like we will be starting with the residents on the phone lines. And looks like I pass it to Administrative Assistant Wynn to let us know if we have someone on the phone.
Thank you, Mayor. I currently do not have anybody on the line. I do want to just review one more time. So the phone number is 612-861-0651. And we do encourage people to call. We would like to hear you. So I do have one calling in, so give me just a moment here.
And it does look like when folks have 30 seconds left, Rachel Lindholm will remind people that their time is up. And so thank you for helping with that. And then our city manager will be keeping track of who's calling in as well, which will help us.
Mayor Reagan Gonzalez, I do want to mention that some of the attendees that are using their cell phones may not necessarily have access to the chat if they are calling in just via their cell. So maybe after we hear from folks calling in via phone, we can just call and go through some of those numbers to see if they have any comments.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay, Council, I do have Dave Forrest on the line. Give me 1 second here.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. First thing, I just switched to Aspen, and I think the prices are wrong because actually my prices that they quoted me were a lot cheaper than what and I'm getting the 65 gallon, and the prices per quarterly for a 65 gallon are almost comparable to a 35 gallon on what your slideshow showed. And if I break it all, if they broke it all down for me, and it's actually cheaper than what it shows on your slides for your weekly service and all that. My yard waste is cheaper than what it shows, and what I'm really confused about is organics. The more people that participate, the prices go up. That makes no sense. It should be going down if more people participate. At that rate, I don't want to pay for that service. So right now, this organized does not benefit my household at this point. And I really don't want to do organized at this time. I feel that if people want to get a better rate, they should just call these services instead, as that's what a free market is for. And that's really all I have to say about that.
Thank you so much, Dave. If you could just stay on the line for a second, I'm going to ask staff a question. So I just have a question to staff. When residents call in and they do have questions or there is confusion and they're willing to share their name and information, are we planning to follow back up with them if they're interested? Maybe that's to Sustainability Coordinator Lindholm.
Actually, Mayor, I can answer that question.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, if people are willing to share their information, we would be happy to follow up with them. And also, we're taking notes and we'll be answering the general themes of questions at the work session on the 25th.
Great, thank you. Are you still on, Dave? Do you have any final comments?
No, I mean, I'm just, like I said, I'm just not interested in organized because actually right now I'm paying cheaper. And I feel that if we're organized, I don't think we're going to get I'm not going to get the level of service. So if I'm not happy with them, I can't change. I'm stuck with the same hauler, no matter what.
Right. Thank you so much, Dave. And can you share your last name again, please?
It's Forrest, F-O-R-S.
Thank you, Dave Forrest. Thank you so much for calling, Dave.
Yep.
Have a good day. Executive Analyst Wynn, do we have anyone else on the phone lines?
Yep, give me 1 moment. All right, I've got Kathleen on the phone. Go ahead, Kathleen, if you want to state your name and address, and then you can state your comment.
Okay, thank you. My name is Kathleen Balaban, and I live on Stevens and 65th Street, and or 5th, you know where I live. Anyway, my comment is, or my concern, questions, whatever you might look at it, is the visual. I recognize that there is potential savings here, and I also agree with organized trash hauling. But what I have a concern for is where we put our trash cans when we're not putting them out on the curb for trash day pickup. Right now, we have ordinances that states our trash cans should be at the side of our buildings or out of sight, and yet I see them right now in the front yards on everybody. Right now, all the 3 houses outside of my house have garbage cans in front of them. So as we add more, meaning the organics pickup, are we going to look at changing or solidifying any of our ordinances so that they are out of sight? And I know you can't respond, but that's my concern, that we're going to have trash cans in the front of everybody's buildings because we have them now, and I would like to see that changed back to what our ordinances should be and enforced. And I appreciate all that you do for our city, not only on this organized stuff, but through the pandemic and all of the other things that we've already experienced during this last year. So thank you again, Sustainability Commission, coordinator, for all the work that you've done, and as well as Amy and her work. So thank you. I'm just concerned about visual pollution and where we're going to put the carts. So thank you again, and enjoy your evening. Bye.
Thank you, Kathleen. I'll go back to Executive Assistant Wynn, who will tee up our next person on the phones.
All right, I have Diane on the phone for you.
Yes.
Diane, if you want to state your name and your address, and then you can do your comments, okay?
Okay, thank you. You ready? Yep. Diane McLaughlin.
Yep.
Yes. Diane McLaughlin, and I'm over here on 77th and Thomas in West Richfield, and I don't mind the idea of organized hauling. It does diminish wear and tear on our streets. I get that. And also in our community, as far as just looking out for folks in the community, walking on the streets. We don't always have sidewalks over here. But I'm wondering, do we have, as citizens, any voice whatsoever in regard to who our trash haulers will be? I have lived here almost 30 years, and I've had 2 trash haulers the whole time I've been here. And I'm very happy with the one I currently have. And I'm not real fond of change. And also the organics, is this something that is required of all citizens? So those are my questions and my concerns. And I'm sorry, I am coming to this discussion overall late in the game, because I know this has been going on for a few years here in Richfield. But those are my concerns.
Thank you so much. And then I just want to verify with staff, at what point do we collect the contact information for folks? Is that a question that's asked on the phone with executive analysts? Should we be, I don't know if we should be asking in the meeting for folks' cell phone numbers, and but at what point are our staff asking, or should we be asking if they want follow-up information and then to give us that information?
Mayor, I am taking down cell phone numbers. Yep.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much.
And I currently do not have anybody on the line.
Okay, so I know we have folks in the meeting as well. Do we want to move to the folks that Analyst Martinez Gavinia was speaking about?
Yes, and we do have right now 4 people in line to make comments, so just let me know when you're ready.
I think we're good to go. Thank you.
Okay, so the first person that I'm gonna be moving from attendee to the main platform is Amanda Cooper. So what's gonna happen is it's gonna have a little lag while I bring you to the main platform, and we are asking for you to please turn on your camera. And Amanda Cooper, now you're on the main platform.
Excellent. Thank you, Blanca. Hi, my name is Amanda Keeper. I am a resident at 69th and Humboldt. I'm also the chair of Richfield's new Sustainability Commission. But I'm just speaking as a resident tonight because this issue is of interest to me, and I know it's been of interest to a lot of residents for a long time, even before the Sustainability Commission was around. So, I just wanted to say a couple things. First of all, I do recognize that for folks that switch haulers frequently, are able to call and haggle prices down, they can get those really low rates. But I'm one of the residents that has been with Aspen for a long time and has seen my bill steadily go up. And I see it as a benefit to not have to be switching haulers every year or calling and haggling, to be able to have a fair and consistent rate, that's gotten through organized collection. So that's just one thing. But I also just really want to encourage the city to adopt the citywide organics collection option. This is something that we've seen successes in already in the city with a lot of interest in our free drop-off sites. And as far as I know, those will still be available, but I do think that a lot of residents would really be interested and benefit from that curbside organics. And the citywide option is just so much cheaper, and it will make it a lot more equitable and accessible for all residents to have the chance to participate and really see the benefits of being able to be involved in organized recycling, which it helps our climate, it helps reduce the amount of waste that we're sending to landfills, which nobody wants an extra landfill built near their house. So, there's just a lot of benefits, and I think the city has the opportunity to make that open and accessible to everyone in our community. So I'm in strong support of the organized collection. I want to thank Rachel and all the city staff that have been working on this. We've seen a lot of great progress, and I'm really excited to see this coming to Richfield.
Thank you so much, Amanda. Before we go to the next person, I just want to remind folks, and I'll probably just do it a couple times throughout the meeting. There are a lot of frequently asked questions, a ton of information on our website about this topic. Our staff has been doing such a great job of putting that information online and together for our residents. So the website is richfieldmn.gov/organized collection, all one word. I'll put it in the chat as well. But if you want to learn more, there's a wealth of information at richfieldmn.gov/organized collection all together with no space. All right, I will pass it on to Analyst Martinez Gavinia to help with the next person.
Yes, and the next person that we have online is Jeremy Bartels. So Jeremy, there'll be a quick lag, and then I will bring you to the main platform. And Jeremy, it looks like you're on the main platform.
Yep, and I'm just turning on my camera right now. so hopefully everyone can see me. I'm Jeremy Bartles. I live at 6227 12th Avenue South here in Richfield, and I am a proponent and advocate of organized waste collection. Amanda just went through the numerous environmental sort of the benefits, not only just the sort of impacts that having multiple haulers go down your streets on your garbage day collection day, but just the fact that we're bringing organized organic waste collection too, which is tremendously helpful. My issue that I've been having with my hauler, Republic, and I've had Aspen previously to that, and then even before that, I think it was Burt's, which got bought out by Waste Management. So over the 5 years, I've had like 3 different haulers that I've lived here. And it does get annoying to have to sort of every few years to look for a different hauler, especially currently with my Republic that I have. I recently just got rid of my yard waste collection. And to do that, I had to call in, I think it was like 6 or 7 times, because my wait time to talk to a representative was 30 plus minutes. And when I finally got through, when I was able to sit for 45 minutes close to it, I was able to talk to someone to have my yard waste collection removed from my bill, because I was trying to cut back on some of the costs. Because with Republic, my bill has increased steadily each quarter with that. And that one thing with the organized collection, that it appears it has this sort of stability with the cost from quarter to quarter, which I currently have never had really with my organized waste. And then comments have been made where, well, you can just switch different haulers if you're not happy with that. Yeah, but they charge you money to sort of pick up, and for my yard waste bin, they charge me $30 some to pick it up, to have that removed. And then if you go to a different hauler, you have these extra fees, then initial fees too. So it doesn't really make it financially beneficial sometimes for some people, and it isn't fair for everyone, because everyone doesn't have that capability to sort of argue and sort of debate their sort of waste hauling fees. So not only due to the environmental changes and impact that it would have, but the fact that we're building a stability with our sort of fees each month and each quarter, I think is going to be beneficial for the yard waste, organized yard waste collection as well.
Thank you so much, Jeremy.
Next, we have Andrew Abel. So I will go ahead and patch them through. And Andrew, it looks like you are on. You want to introduce yourself?
Yes, let me just okay. Yep, my mom. Hello there, I'm Andrew Abel. I live in Richfield, 73rd Avenue, Elliott. Lived here for about 5 years. My concern with organized collection is I like the ability to choose who I want to work with, and I like my current service, and I might get stuck with somebody else, and I just know that there is the possibility that when a company has a whole area to themselves, they don't really need to work to please individuals. So when you get a government contract, it's kind of this thing where you have less choice. And right now, the bill prices are, you've organized the price that is maybe cheaper than what some people are paying, but there's no guarantee that that's going to continue on that trend. And if it goes up for everybody, we don't have a choice of just going to another hauler. We have to be stuck with whatever the city's doing. So my concern is that over time, these savings that we see now are not going to be there, and we won't have an option to go with somebody else. And I just believe in the free market and the ability to choose who I want to use for things. And so having the city in charge of that is just another area that takes away control from the citizens over they want to do with their money and with their collection. So that's my 2 cents on it. I would prefer to not have organized trash because of that. Because I like to be able to have that control over that. And also, as the previous caller was saying, he was on long wait times to talk. I don't see that changing when somebody has, when certain hauler has a bigger part of the pie, let's say. There's no guarantee that our hauler that we get, stuck with will be more attentive to us as an individual when they have basically a contract for a whole area. So I feel like I'll have less power to get my voice heard on an individual level. So yeah, that's all I have to comment on at this time. Thank you guys, appreciate it.
Thank you so much for calling in, Andrew.
Yeah.
Next, we have Charlie Severson. Charlie, now you're in the main line. If you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Charlie Severson. I live on 67th and 1st Avenue. And first of all, I do want to thank everybody for all the work they've put into this. It is a good proposal that's been put forward. I did some math on my own, and it saves me a tiny little bit of money over what I'm paying now. My concerns are, I really, really think it's a big mistake, huge mistake, to not invest the time, and yes, maybe more money, I get that, in having this on our city bill, for like our utility bill, and having that go through the city. I have previously lived in a city where it was on the city bill, everything was very smooth. I have Waste Management right now. Their customer service is atrocious. It's awful. Wait times are horrible. You can't really get a hold of anybody. They don't really answer your questions. And if you try to dispute anything with them, it's kind of tough bounce. This is the way it is. You can't really get anywhere. I'm concerned that in the proposal, you kind of are speaking out of both sides of your mouths by saying, no, you're going to have to go through your hauler for any questions or concerns, but then if you need to escalate anything, city staff will be there. But we didn't want to really take on the added cost of city staff to do this. So my concern really there is for us as residents, will we really be able to get answers from city staff in a timely manner? If we do need help with something, will city staff have the capacity to actually respond to that and do their normal jobs? I'm a little concerned there. The other comment I would have relates to a few callers ago mentioned, where do we put the carts, especially if we end up with this third cart. I can fit 2 carts in my garage with my car. I can't fit a third. It won't fit. So where would you like me to put it? Being that I do prefer to follow the ordinance, I agree with that previous caller that it looks pretty bad when you have cans sitting on the front or even on the sides of buildings. And, so where does the city want us to stow this extra cart? Those would be my concerns. And again, thank you for all your work on this, though. Overall, I am in favor of organized trash collection. I just have those few concerns about it.
Thank you so much, Charlie.
Next, we have Heather M. Heather, you are on. If you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
Oh, hi. Sorry, I tried unmuting a second ago and it wouldn't let me. But anyways, hi, I'm Heather McDonald. I live on Harriet, just about a block from Richfield High School. And I do serve on the Community Services Commission. Yeah, sorry, I just had to discard a crying toddler. So anyways, but I really just wanted to come and voice my support. You know, nothing is going to be perfect. I certainly don't feel that the current solution that we have is perfect. And I have my doubts that this one will be perfect either, or also. Um, but I do think that it's going to be a much needed improvement. Uh, in addition to the environmental reasons and our roads, which do cost us money. Um, and a number of other reasons. I live on a street that is an inlet to my neighborhood. I count dozens easily, of these garbage trucks rumbling past my house. This isn't, a third ring suburb where all of our houses are super far away from the street or each other necessarily. I love Richfield, but I don't love the dozens and dozens and dozens of garbage trucks that rumble past my bedroom window from 15 feet away. Um, it is, I'm sure more noticeable for some, less noticeable for others, but for us, it is very noticeable. 69th is an inlet that we live right by, and so we see these trucks constantly coming and going. I'm really excited to have less of that. Um, so that's one of my biggest comments. I think for the most part, um, others have voiced their reasons for support, and I back up, most of those as well. Um, I know that for some it's going to cost more. I think for us it is cheaper. We don't switch services that often. I don't have time to spend doing that assessment and switching and spending the time on the call, frankly. Um so yeah, I support this. I also, have heard through my commission meetings and other avenues, that there's been a lot of work put into this, which I do appreciate. So I just wanted to voice that.
Thank you so much for coming, Heather, and for your comments.
Next, we have Jill Fisher. So I'll go ahead and patch her through. And Jill, now you're on the main platform. If you can go ahead and introduce yourself. Jill, you're still muted.
Oh, yep.
We're not able to hear you. Sometimes it helps to turn off your camera.
No, we can't.
Mayor, if you want to go ahead and offer also the phone number, Jill can call in.
Okay. Our phone number to call in is 612-861-0651. 612-861-0651.
And I do not have anyone else that has expressed the need to make a comment. I did want to unmute some of the phones because they don't have access to the chat. So if you are calling with a cell phone number that it starts in 712-540, that number again is 712-540. I am going to unmute you to see if you want to make a comment. I'm calling user with phone number 712-540. Do you have a comment? I don't think we do, so I'm going to move on to the next person. The next person that I have using the phone line is 612-810. The number again is 612-810. So if you have that phone number, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you. Oh, and it looks like that person just left the chat. So I don't have anyone else that has expressed the need to comment in the WebEx platform.
Okay, looks like we lost Jill. Analyst, or not analyst, sorry, executive assistant. When do we have anyone on the lines?
I am getting a call right now, so give me a moment. All right, I have Darren on the line. So Darren, if you'd like to introduce yourself and you can make your comment.
Hi there, my name is Darren. I'm on 69th and Pleasant. And I guess my first question that seems to be pretty popular in the area is why is the council not interested in putting this to a vote? Biggest thing is it seems that the 7 or 8 people that have been able to access the meeting via web or by phone is excluding the majority of the residents and the population. There's several people that haven't been able to access, and I know there's been some online conversations with some of the councilmen who don't really seem that they want to respond to anybody that has an opposing opinion. I guess my other question would be, if the hauler is to be our first contact, who at the city is going to be the person that will handle issues for the residents? A couple of years ago with the Centerpoint and Michael's fiasco, we were told to contact the council, which we did, and then we're told to contact the contractors themselves, and we got nowhere. And we got no support from the council or the city, and the issues still have yet to be addressed. So I guess the accountability is going to be the other issue.
Thank you so much, Darren. And if you did leave your contact information with Kelly, staff will be following up with folks on the questions that people present at today's listening session.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mayor Reagan Gonzalez, I do not have anyone on the WebEx platform.
I also do not have anybody on the phone right now.
Okay, well, we'll just wait for a little bit. In the meantime, I will review a few items that I already reviewed, but just in case folks are tuning in, we do have a lot of information on the organized hauling item at richfieldmn.gov/organized collection, and that is all one word. It's not two separate words. There's frequently asked questions. There's a lot of information at the website. Additionally, we will be having a city council work session on May 25th. And at that work session, staff will be following up with some additional follow-up and responses to what we heard at the listening session today, but also if there's additional questions. And then we will have a public hearing, a formal public hearing in person on June 1st at 6:30 p.m. at City Hall. And then once again, if folks are interested in joining in right now to the listening session, the phone number is 612-861-0651. You can also submit your comments via email to kwynn@richfieldmn.gov. And then folks are also able to participate via WebEx. So we'll just pause a little bit and wait.
Mayor, I can start reading some of our emailed comments if you'd like.
Sure. Oh, that's right.
I have a call, so hold on one
thank you.
moment. Sorry. That was a repeat caller, actually. So I will go ahead and I'm going to just read some comments from that we had emailed in. And I apologize if I don't pronounce the names correctly. My apologies on that. This is from Nancy Golan at 605 West 70th Street. Many of us have been wondering what financial gains does the City of Richfield get for consolidated garbage pickup. I'm hoping this is addressed at the meeting tonight. Unfortunately, I cannot attend, but will be watching. I've been a Richfield resident for 26 years. I've been very happy with my current service, which is Republic, who had been Randy's. And the next one is from Kathleen Brault at 6829 James Avenue South. I am against the organized garbage collection plan. I will be paying more under this plan, and I feel like I'm already paying more than I should be. I've already had my carrier, which is Republic, reduce my rates to last year's rates as they tried to slip in a rather large increase for 2021. This is not an equitable plan. This should be taken to a vote. My next one is from, Risa Paul at 6645 16th Avenue South. Organized collection will happen not to save the roads, but because council wants to jump on the bandwagon. I get that. At the very least, the one fee I see pushing people over the edge of any possible savings is the forced organics fee. Hennepin County will mandate that haulers have to offer the service, not that residents of Hennepin County will be forced to participate. So if I'm not being forced to participate, why will I then be forced to pay for the service? You are singling out homeowners. This does not affect multifamily, does not affect commercial, it only affects homeowners. This feels very targeted. It was stated that on the high end, 20 to 30% of homeowners will be utilizing the organic service. How is this fair to make the other 80 to 70% for the service, pay for the service so that the 20 to 30% can get a cheaper rate? Organics is a service. People who want a service sign up and pay the fee. People who do not want the service don't sign up and therefore don't have the service charge. That's the way it should be, and it will help 15% who will be paying higher general rates with the organized system. Pandemic, people are already hurting. Hennepin County didn't raise property taxes this year, Richfield did, and now you would add another burden to homeowners. The next one is from Brian Hall at 6945 17th Avenue South. Thanks for doing all the research and legwork to bring us the information so we can make an informed decision. All I ask is that you put it on the ballot as a referendum in November to let us choose whether we want it or not. The next is from Dave and Kate Tellinghusen at 6704 Grand Avenue South. We just wanted to express support towards organized garbage collection. We like the mention of keeping all haulers but giving them an area. We have at least 4 different haulers that go down our alley weekly. The next one is from Mike Hanks at 6227 James Avenue South. To the Richfield City Council and staff, I am a Richfield resident and homeowner and am in favor of organized collection within the city. I'm also a Sun Current reporter covering Bloomington. I have written about Bloomington's organized collection roller coaster over the years. I am far from an expert on the topic, even with my vast reporting, but I have learned enough to know I support organized collection in our city. First and foremost, trash collection is not a luxury. The days of the burn barrel are over. There is no particular alternative to residential garbage service, and the price I pay should not be higher or lower than the house across the street receiving the exact same services based upon who spends more time haggling on the phone. Haggling for better rates should be left to lawn care, cable TV, and painting services. Garbage collection is an essential service. A recent online discussion of the organized collection proposal resulted in a resident asking me if I wanted to pay the difference in her bill because her rate would go up. I argued that I subsidized her service now. Garbage collection rates are based upon the service option and carts we require from a hauler. A resident obtaining a discounted rate is likely able to benefit because other residents like me are not calling annually and arguing against a rate hike. At the end of the day, our weekly trash needs to be handled properly when it rolls out of town. I shouldn't be paying more for my bag of trash to be disposed of by Waste Management or former Randy's Environmental Services than my neighbor pays, not when it's an essential service that homeowners need. Some residents will try to argue that reducing garbage truck traffic is irrelevant unless the city reduces UPS, FedEx, U.S. Postal Service, and Amazon traffic. They are correct in that we will continue to have those trucks making deliveries on our streets every day of the week, but those trucks are not providing an essential service that the city regulates. The two do not equate, and arguments attempting to link them should be dismissed. You will likely hear arguments that you can't fire your hauler. Under organized collection, that is correct, but knowing the terms in Bloomington, haulers have performance standards to meet and penalties for failing to do so. The idea that one hauler can shirk its responsibilities to its customers because the city has organized collection is silly. As the current mayor of Bloomington pointed out years ago while serving as an at-large council member, approximately 71% of the country uses organized collection. That doesn't automatically make it a better system, but it seems unlikely that nearly 3 out of 4 cities would use a garbage collection system that is worse than alternatives. Whatever the reason for Richfield being in the minority, there are too many benefits to organized collection and not enough reasons to hold out. The 1950s are long gone. Garbage, recycling, yard waste, and organics disposal are essential services. If they weren't, the city wouldn't be licensing haulers to provide such services. Let's take the next step in ensuring responsible service delivery in Richfield, a step that ensures all residents are treated equally and fairly. And I've got one more. This is from Cindy Dubansky at 7214 Pleasant Avenue South. Thank you for this opportunity to weigh in on organized collection process. I am not able to participate directly this evening. In general, I agree with the idea of organized collection, and I believe it can achieve the goals of reducing the number of garbage trucks on Richfield roads, reduce air and noise pollution and public dumping, and redirect the waste stream to make more use of recycling, composting, and refuse. I do struggle with the loss of choice of collection providers as the plan has been presented. Specifically, I was disappointed to learn that Waste Management is one of the collection companies being considered and that I could potentially be assigned to that company. I have experienced significant problems with Waste Management in the past, and I do not want to be forced to use them again when I would ordinarily not choose to use them due to an ongoing history of poor customer service. Many years ago, when I first moved to Richfield, I used Waste Management. Things went okay for a while, then they started picking up trash erratically, sometimes missing weeks at a time. At one point, Waste Management tried to blame me for the missed pickups. I complained to a regional manager and received an apology, but no refund for weeks of no trash service. Trash pickup went okay for a short time, then they started missing pickups again. I complained again, received no response, jumped to a complaint to the CEO of Waste Management and received no response, so I dropped the company. I am not alone with the problem of missed pickups. On the Richfield Community Facebook page, I have noticed many complaints about Waste Management missing pickups. When I dropped Waste Management, I switched to Burt's, which I was very happy with. I was very disappointed when Burt's went away and transferred their business to Waste Management. I had many other things going on in my life, and at that time I was not able to research rates and service with other trash collection companies, so I stayed with Waste Management for a while, a regrettable choice. Initially, I received a letter with their rates and a description of their statements, noting that customers will receive bills when the transition was completed. Months later, I still had not received a bill and wrote to Waste Management and inquiring about my bill. No response. Eventually, I received a past due notice for bills I never received. The next day, I received a notice from a collection agency for the bills I never received, with no opportunity to pay the past due bill. All Waste Management had to do was send me a bill and I would have paid it. It's unbelievable that I even requested a bill and they did not send one until the past due notice, but they went to the trouble to referring me to a collection agency. That action resulted in a complaint to the Office of the Minnesota Attorney General. Unfortunately, there was no direct action they could take at that point. I believe it would be in the best interest of the residents of Richfield not to use Waste Management as a provider in the organized collection plan. Regardless of which companies the city ends up using, I hope the residents will have a voice in the choice of companies to which they will be assigned, and that there will be a meaningful procedure in place for addressing service and billing problems with the contracted companies. I, for one, although I will likely not be the only one, will not be a happy camper if I get stuck with Waste Management as my trash collection company again. Thank you for your attention. And I have not gotten any new comments during the meeting, so that's all that I have currently, and I have nobody on the line.
Thank you so much for reading all of those emailed comments. Annalise Martinez Gavinia, do you have anybody waiting?
Mayor Reagan Gonzalez, I do not have anyone waiting. Again, if you want to make a comment in the WebEx platform, please go ahead and send me your name via chat. And the name listed is Blanca MG, but I currently do not have anyone.
Well, I'll just wait for a little bit longer. I'll review a couple of the ways again that folks can participate, and then if no one joins, then I will adjourn our meeting. So for folks who would like to call in, the phone number is 612-861-0651. You can also submit your email comments to kwynn@richfieldmn.gov. And then if you are on the WebEx, you can submit your name to Analyst Martinez Gavinia under Blanca MG. As a reminder, the City Council will have a work session on May 25th, where staff have been taking notes on tonight's listening session, and they will be responding to the questions that folks have posed. They'll share that with council, but then also for folks who were interested in getting their questions followed up with directly by staff, they will be doing that as well. And then lastly, there is a public hearing that will be held in person on June 1st at 6:30 p.m. and that will be at City Hall. And then we do have plenty of information online about organized residential hauling and the process here in Richfield, including frequently asked questions. That's very comprehensive. There's a ton of information online, and you can find it at richfieldmn.gov/organized collection, all one word with the organized collection.
Mayor, I do have someone on the phone.
Okay.
Okay, Karen, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, and then you can make your comment.
Okay, this is Karen Kaler, and I'm at 7632 Sheridan Avenue South. And I want to say thank you to the council for having this listening session. I came in, unfortunately, quite late, but I do want to make a short comment, and that is, please don't be afraid to put this to a vote at the next election. Let the people decide. St. Paul and Bloomington both voted for this when it was put to a vote, and I think the residents will be more comfortable and happier in the long run if we feel that we have had a vote on this issue. I, like the previous email comments, have had very bad relationship with waste management. I've lived here for 26 years. I've had waste management twice. I fired them twice. I have Aspen right now. I'm thrilled with them. And I will be so unhappy if I'm stuck with waste management again, especially if the council decides that we have to deal directly with the haulers and don't hire someone to take any complaints or concerns. That really puts us in a very, very bad position of unable to fire them, and what incentive would they have to make us happy? I can't imagine why they would. When we were paying them, they weren't interested in making us happy. Thank you very much. I know it's a very hard decision for everyone, and I do appreciate that you are listening to us. Please put it to a vote. Thank you.
Thank you for your call. Do we have any other folks here to comment?
Mayor Reagan Gonzalez, I do not have anyone on the WebEx platform. Again, in the WebEx platform, if you scroll down to my name, Blanca MG, you can go ahead and send me your full name and I will patch you through. But I currently do not have anyone on the wait list.
I do have someone on the phone.
All right.
Okay, Karen, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and you can make your comment.
Yeah, hi, my name is Karen Lanthier. I'm near Portland and 70th, and just wanted to call in and say that my husband and I are in support of this organized collection, and although there are, pros and cons to any new change, we see it as a net benefit for the city. We can't say we've had outstanding trash collection experience with any trash collector we've had, particularly wherever we've lived, and we see a lot of power behind moving to an organized system. We also really I especially resonate with potential environmental benefits of having fewer trucks on the streets. And I also really resonate with the earlier emailer who had shared about, trash collection not really being an option. It's a public good, public necessity. So, let's go for this system where we can really ensure quality as best as possible and have a good quality of life in our city, especially with the changing times and the really renewed need to focus on environmental needs of our city. So that was what we wanted to contribute.
Thank you so much for calling in.
Thanks.
I do not have any more callers at the moment.
Okay, we will just wait a little bit longer to see if anyone else decides to call in. All right, I'll probably wrap it up here soon. I'll just remind folks, we do have a work session on May 25th for the City Council to get additional follow-up information on the items that we heard in our listening session tonight and ask questions. And then there is a public hearing on June 1st at 6:30, which will be in person at City Hall. And then if folks would like to send emails to our staff that can be read again in any one of these following meetings, you can send it to Kelly Wynn at kwynn@richfieldmn.gov. And I think that's about it. So I'll ask our staff one more time if we have anyone else here for the listening session.
I do not have anybody on the phone.
Okay.
Mayor Megan Gonzalez, I also do not have anyone on the WebEx platform.
Okay, and I also just want to remind people that if folks have questions, they can call or email our sustainability coordinator, Rachel Lindholm, directly. Her email is RLINDHOLM, and her phone number is 612-861-9188. Rachel has been doing an exceptional job of answering all of our residents' questions, walking through their bills, walking through the rate changes with them, walking through the process. So if you have any specific questions, you are also able to connect with Rachel directly. And then we do have information on our city website regarding the process, including frequently asked questions and Rachel's contact info. All right, well, I will adjourn our meeting, our listening session, given that nobody else is here to comment, and we do have continued opportunities for community input along the way. So thank you, everyone. Thank you to the residents for joining us, and have a good night.